What's up, everybody? My name is OJ, and welcome to Daemon X Machina. This is the brand new action mech game from Marvelous and published by Nintendo. This game has a prototype that's out right now on the Nintendo eShop that all of you guys can go out there and download. Daemon X Machina is a very interesting game because they want to make sure that they get feedback. So what you can do is you can download the prototype mission pack out there, or missions, on the Nintendo Switch eShop, and then after, you might be selected for a survey to give them feedback about the game. And if you don't get selected for that survey, you can always go on social media, for example like Twitter, and give them feedback about the controls or the gameplay. One of the coolest things about Daemon X Machina is just the style and substance of this game. I really love how the mechs look, how they move, how the armor is, the customization. There's so many different options, and that's the first thing that you notice when you boot up the game. You can head right into the character creator, because in this game, not only can you use mechs, you can also use your own character or outer. You can customize everything from what they're wearing, from how they look, right down to their skills. And that's actually another big part of the game that we'll talk about in just a bit. When it comes to the graphics of the game, as soon as you get into your little hangar area, you can tell that this has some pretty significant upgrades over some of the other mech games that we've seen recently. And what I mean by recently, as in there's pretty much like nothing out there. Gundam is kind of dead. So this is just a nice change up from what we've seen before. This is an Unreal Engine 4 title, and you can definitely tell just by looking around. But enough about the looks and the customization of your mech. How about the gameplay? Well, I think that's where Daemon X Machina has a little bit of wiggle room. I feel that personally, if you've played mech games before, you're gonna feel right at home controlling, shooting, flying around, ascending, coming back down. Everything's going to be good. However, if you've played other types of games, ones that are maybe more fast-paced or so, or even just action games in general, or other shooting games, it might feel a little bit wonky for you. Once you get the hang of the controls though in the training mission, and once you do a couple of the other missions out there, it actually feels right at home. I had no problem zipping around, flying, doing some barrel rolls, shooting things up. It just takes a little bit of time to get used to. But once you do get used to them, it's actually a lot of fun. However, that doesn't mean that there isn't room to improve. They can definitely improve the controls. They can improve how you fire your weapons and kind of how the weapons work in conjunction with the movement. But overall, I found everything pretty smooth. But just because everything was pretty smooth with the controls and everything doesn't mean the game was running smooth as well. There were some issues with the frame rate, especially in one of the other boss battles where these two huge, I guess they call them immortals or something like that, but these huge mechs kind of came into play, and there was definitely some frame rate stuttering and issues. And although there was those issues, it was still fun to play just because mech games are awesome. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I absolutely love the mech games, and the style and substance that this game has to be able to equip weapons just like a really cool mech from Gundam. You have shoulder weapons that you can use to shoot missiles. You have a weapon in your right hand, and you have a weapon in your left hand. You can also opt to have a shield in one hand or two guns in both hands. It's actually pretty cool. There's customization all over the place with more weapons as well. Everything seems to be really in depth. I mean, this game has some crazy stat numbers when it comes to the logistics of weapons and flight speed and mobility and everything. There's just so much depth. And that's what I love the most about Daemon X Machina, is the amount of depth that you're going to have. When you're out on these missions, you can go out there and pick up weapons. Any of the weapons that you have will be sent back to your hangar, and then what you can do is you can compare and contrast a bunch of different statistics. You can even customize your legs in order to move faster, have more stamina. It's just really in depth, and I can tell that they spent a lot of time looking at previous mech games and adding in their own flair to it. It really does seem like it's going to be a full package overall in the game, especially when you start getting a lot of the advanced weapons. Another thing about this game, which I'm not sure if it's going to make it into the final build, but it's just the way that the cutscenes play out. that was a little bit weird because it's just like static pictures and them just talking, but you can already tell that this story is way more in-depth and elaborate than I originally thought it was going to be. You have various different mercenary groups that all work for one organization, and there's some times where you team up with them, but then again, there's also times where you're against them. And there's classified information. So it looks like the story's going to twist and tangle, and sometimes your friends will be foes and vice versa. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Once you get the hang of flying around and shooting, this is probably some of the most fun that I've ever had in a mech game. And I can instantly see the type of appeal, especially when you start getting into the missions where you're on the ground and what you can do there, because your outer, like I talked about, can be fully customized. And that's what I love about games like this, about what they're trying to do, is the customization options seem to be so in depth with your outer, your character, in addition to your mech. Having some nice combinations in order to go out there and tackle missions. And as you tackle those missions, you get credits, which you can use to upgrade your outer. These are all things that really make Daemon X Machina just stand out. So to wrap up my feelings on Daemon X Machina and talk a little bit more about the game itself, I think that this prototype was actually not bad at all. It's not a finished product. They just wanted to give us a taste of what we're going to get. So the biggest things that I would say for feedback, and what I'm going to tell them as well, is you can kind of shore up the controls a little bit more for those maybe who aren't as in tune with mech games, and also the frame rate. And I think that's just pretty much a given, making sure that the frame rate is more stable, making sure that the frame rate doesn't fluctuate as much. But outside of that, the game is actually really fun, and I see a lot of potential in Daemon X Machina this summer. So I'm really excited about that. So definitely the weapons and the customization is probably the strongest suit of the game. Being able to pick up weapons on the fly, send them back to your hangar, customize your mech in any type of way. It's just really cool. It's almost the type of Gundam game that you've always wanted, this in depth, but they just haven't done it to this point. And Daemon X Machina, even in this prototype, gives you those abilities to go in there, replay, get more guns, get more different things, because it's RNG with the loot drops with the different mechs and where you pick them up from. But it just does it in a way that's a lot of fun. Just like Octopath Traveler, they're giving us the ability to play something early, let them know what they need to shore up and what they need to do, and then have a better product when it's released. So I love that when developers do that, and that's exactly what this game with the prototype missions does. And I'm thoroughly impressed with Daemon X Machina. I think it's going to be a great game. I don't think it's going to be like the huge, obviously like millions upon millions of people buy it, but I think it's going to be one of those games that grows on people, that more people will pick it up as word of mouth goes out. But I'm really enjoying the game. I think that it has a really slick presentation. I think the combat is a lot of fun and in-depth, and I can't wait to get more into the game when it comes to like the outer missions, seeing more of the story, seeing some of the high-paced gear and everything like that. Like, this seems to me like it's going to be a nice, well-rounded out game content-wise. Now, I do want to talk briefly about some of the other stuff with the game that we do know about, and that there is going to be online multiplayer as well. The multiplayer is going to be in the game. I don't think it's going to be competitive. From what we understand, it's going to be cooperative, and if you play cooperative missions together, you will be able to get exclusive loot that you wouldn't be able to get if you play single player. So I think that's in the free missions mode, or in the extra co-op missions mode, you'll be able to do that. Not the free missions, sorry about that. The extra co-op missions mode, you'll be able to do that. Whereas the free mission mode looks like you're going to be able to go in and take random missions in order to level up, get more credits, get new armor and weapons before you take on the main mode, which lets you progress the story. So there's already a lot of great things to like about Daemon X Machina, and make sure you guys go out there, download the demo, play it, and give them your feedback. If you're chosen for the survey, you can still always go on social media and let them know about it. But it does seem like it's pretty cool. They have a colorful cast of characters and decent voice acting. I just played in English, but there is also Japanese as well, so I'll check that out. But it does seem like the cast is going to be cool, that the gameplay is going to shape up, and we get to shape kind of what they can do in order to make the game better. So this is a win-win all around for gamers. I'm excited to play Daemon X Machina when it comes out this summer on the Nintendo Switch. So what did you guys think about your playtime so far with the game? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the internet into YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.